for having to watch my dancing as we roll in.
Totally. All right, let me ask you a question. I get asked this all the time. Let me make a statement. I make a load of content, is what I get told, right? People say to me, I make content. Why aren't I making sales? That's the conversation today, right? We're going to talk about content versus sales and where content fits into life because it's super important. So let's start doing that. Let me introduce Michael first. So actually, first, let's step it back a second. Content. What is it? What's it for? Is it there to make sales? How does it help? Where does it sit? That's what we're looking at today. Welcome to the Social Butterfly. I'm Katrina from Butterfly Media, and we shine a light on amazing, awesome humans doing amazing, awesome things. And I am joined by Michael Clift, as always, my business coach who helps a lot of awesome people do awesome things. He also helps you master chaos. Here he's helping you master chaos to accelerate profits and free you from your business. Hi, Michael. How are you?
Hi, Katrina. Fantastic.
Such a great answer. I'll take it. All right. When I say to you content, what do you think? Where is it at? What's content for you, Michael?
It's such a broad term, right?
Yeah.
Right. Like, everything is content. Like, in my perception of content, let's talk about it that way. My perception of content is things that we are putting out into the world for other people to be able to be educated, to experience, to see what we see. So it's sharing of knowledge and or sharing of experiences.
Yep, such a good answer. It's a lot of things, isn't it? And that's why I thought we might chat about it today. The more I talk to people, the more I find it's a little bit grayed and a little bit blurred around what it is and what it needs to be doing and where it fits in the whole scheme of things. So that's why I thought we'd bring it up. It's also part of the 4 C's of social that we lean into when we're doing some work for clients and for ourselves. And content is a pretty big part of it. So I like to look at content as a bit of an army that goes out with a purpose. So it has a reason for living and reason for being, and then also a reason for not living, right? So there's some things that perhaps we don't need to send out, and definitely some things we do. So if we think of our content as an army, its sole purpose is to go find eyes. That's it. It's to go find eyes on the prize, to go find awareness, and then from that awareness to start to build that trust, know, like factor. That's its purpose. Yeah? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Sound all right?
I'm listening.
Yeah. So with that in mind, everything we create from then on has a reason for living. And social media starts to become, instead of this big thing that we're doing, or any sort of marketing, it starts to be able to be pigeonholed a little bit, and we're able to do things with this in a certain amount of time, with a reason, and then to measure it, right? Because what gets measured gets treasured. So if we think about the purpose of content, it's to connect, right? Connect with our audiences. It's to, as you say, share what we do, share knowledge, to extend an invitation to hang out with us, right? And find out what it's like to work with us, or what it might not be like. It's to build trust, as we say, and also to take people to the next step, which I find is super important, because there are some people that I've spoken with that would like to sell with their content. And depending on how you position it, yes, that's possible. But for the majority, it's there to say hi. And it's the, as we call it, top of funnel. What do you think? Comments?
Oh,
so much.
Yeah. Can I share very briefly what's going through my head right now?
I love it, because when you go quiet like that, I'm like, oh, this is going to be big.
So what's going through my head as you're talking about content as human beings, as a species, we have always had content. Now we just carry on about it like it's some amazing thing that we all have to have, and we got to do it with like someone's like, I have to have content, but they have no idea. And what was going through my head is we've always had content, and it's always had a purpose. So from the point of view of telling stories around a campfire, because that is how we shared knowledge and passed it down, and that's how we brought people together and had shared purpose and belief. And then we had like we were bashing things in on stones, we were doing paintings on walls, and it was sharing our experiences. Like we go see cave paintings and someone's painted something about something like that, and there's just them trying to capture their experience, right, and share that. They weren't, no one's just gone and talking. Well, some people like the sound of their own voice, but I think that we have always had over the different things, and like it, from even to the point of view of you, like from a religious point of view, like we start creating something like the Bible and we start sharing beliefs, and it's becomes more indoctrinated, right? So we've always had this thing. Now we're in a digital world with social media. It's so easy to share, and everyone feels the need for content, but they're focused on the content and making content and creating all this stuff and everything, and they're probably focused in the wrong area
So
because
that's
they're
almost,
so worried about content and they're not worried about why.
I love it. So not content for content's sake, right?
Yeah.
That's where we can easily get wound up in. And that's, that's easy to do. I did it. I've done it at the start. It's kind of like, I've got to make content because it's social media. So what is that? What do I have to do? And then so you go to social media or you go to the places and look at what people are doing and start to make content, right? And then wonder why it's not landing, why it's not working, or if it is, why. Like so many times you go, why did that one work and that one didn't? Right? So there's definitely those sorts of conversations. But I love the campfire analogy. It's literally how we share information through the ages forever. It's the way we've done it. It's the way we've called people to arms. It's the way that we've sung our history. Like you look at in our Indigenous culture, they sing the future to each other. Like it's just what we do, right? It's an amazing way. And one of the core content types is stories, right? It's one of the major ones that we use all the time. It's the way that we connect. It's incredible. So yeah, content's been around forever. We're just all jumping on board now because we can. I suppose we always were. We're just more awake to it. Yeah. So now
No,
we're
I think that we've been maybe more individualized than we ever have been previously. And now everyone has this pressure that they need content. I'm not saying content is not important to business because it is, but like content by itself is just irrelevant. It has no reason to be. If you just do content for content's sake, if it makes you feel good, awesome. I guess it does have a reason. But if we're doing it from a business perspective to build relationships, generate revenue, support our clients, keep clients long term, it's part of a bigger whole, and it's part of a marketing strategy, and it's part of our beliefs and our values and those stories that we share in the people that we help.
it's definitely that. So let's look at some mistakes maybe that you've seen or that you think you might have seen around people making content or some wrong thinking. You got anything that comes to mind?
So many things. I'm gonna try and distill it down to some little
You've
things.
gone quiet again, so yeah.
Yeah, my brain just went zoom. Okay, so one of the things that, and like these are my opinions and my beliefs, right? So what I want to, and I had a very interesting conversation with a couple of clients in my group session yesterday about this because they have two very opposing views on how, like, what you share on social media, how you talk about it, the things that you can put on there, because they've got different belief systems.
Great. This is awesome.
So
Yeah.
so it was a really interesting conversation for me because I was saying to them, you're actually both right for you, but we can't just go and tell someone else that they are wrong, right? Because that, like, then we're trying to impose our beliefs on other people, and that's not what it's about. So I guess that's where I want to start off, is that these are my opinions and what I believe, and other people may find other ways to do it. So I'm not telling anyone that they're shit. This is just what I see as challenges, right? The the first one that I would say that I think really stumps people is they don't have any form of strategy. They don't have a marketing strategy. They don't know why they are producing content outside of that they actually need content. And they've been told they need content. They hear everyone talking about it. They go and they look at whether it's their favorite influencer, whether it's someone who's more in marketing world, like a Gary Vee, or they've seen Alex Hormozi pop up somewhere, or they've seen these different people, and they're like, oh, they make content, I need content, and then they just get there, and then they just put up what they think that people want to see, or they go copy what someone else is doing, but they don't have all the things around that. So that's the first thing that I see.
It's a good one. It's a good one. I think we all fall into that at some stage, particularly when we're starting out. We've got to learn from somewhere. So definitely. And strategy also is like when you say the word, it's like, well, what does it actually mean? What do I have to make? What am I looking at? So yeah, but keep going. So that's definitely a huge part.
So without strategy, you're never going to get sales. Well, you might. Okay, let me take a step back. You might randomly get sales, but you won't be creating sales with intent.
And do it again, and do it again, and do it again.
Yeah, and it's not repeatable, and it's not like you're not taking people along the journey. Like from a marketing term, buyer's journey, and we don't know where people start. And so the next one is we're not creating a channel as a marketing funnel. And I talk about it, and I share, and like you've picked it up too, is all roads lead to Rome, which is how are we building that out so that they're following that path to this one key place that we want them to go, which is Rome. And from that perspective, because we haven't got a specific strategy, we're not building a channel to do a thing. So let's say I have LinkedIn open in front of me off over here. So I'll talk about LinkedIn. So we're not creating LinkedIn so that everything that we do brings this person to one point. So on my LinkedIn, for example, the one thing that you can do on my LinkedIn is go book a 15-minute session. That's what you can do on my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking, the purpose of what I'm doing on there, whether it's in the DMs or whether it's through content or anything like that, is getting someone to go, look, do that, book a session. That is Rome, right? Now, the thing is to get someone there, you've got to take them along that journey. So firstly, we've actually got to bring them in our world. So we've got to, this is, for anyone that's not aware, marketing funnel looks like this.
Looks like a car funnel. Looks like all the funnels, doesn't it?
Yeah. Very basic, quickly, anyone who's listening, not watching, it's just broken into 3 parts. The first one's attention. The second part, and this is very basic, attention, warm, and convert, right? The attention piece is where we're bringing people into our world. So where we need to understand who that person is first so we can talk to them in their language. And then we're talking around, sorry, I'm probably stealing your thunder.
No, this is great. I love it. Another marketing lesson. I'll take it every day of the week. I could talk marketing all the time. You know that?
So we, firstly, to take a step back, before you can build a funnel, you actually need to know the person you're talking to. You need to understand, well, I would highly encourage you to understand everything you absolutely can about them, because then you can talk more to what their challenges are and speak to the different things that engage them. And without that, it's going to be very hard to connect.
Yeah, and I just want to jump in there really quickly. So that's your avatar, or your persona, for more marketing terms. The reason I want to jump in, when you're just starting out, sometimes it's hard to know, right? So you just got to get out there and,
absolutely,
as you say, talk to more people. So what I've found, and somebody said this to me the other day, and I found this super effective. If you don't know who yet, look at what. So if there's a problem solution, or you can niche into a problem first and then start to see who turns up. So just while you're doing that, while you're talking about it, I just sort of throw it in, because sometimes finding the person is difficult when you're first starting. But if you go, okay, I'm going to solve this problem, I can see there's a problem in the market and I'm going to go solve that. So you can problem niche for a while and then start to see what happens. And then, as you say, learn everything you can about that problem and how your solution fixes it, and then go from there. So, sorry, keep going. I just wanted to say that, because sometimes finding the people are hard.
Yeah, and we probably don't necessarily have enough time today to go through every single framework that we're about to start. Because my head just went to, and then we do this. So we can come back to
that. So strategy,
another episode. Yeah, we'll come back to the funnel just as a basic to give
strategy, funnel, avatar. Well, strategy, funnel, Yep.
So the idea behind the funnel, very basic, attention, warm, convert. So having that is your different layers of content that you want to fit into, because different types of content do different things for you, and it's telling the story and it's taking someone along the journey so that they can understand, firstly, that they have a problem, because not everyone actually understands that they have a problem, right? Or what that problem is. So that, like, attention brings people into your world, right? And that can be talking about the problem that's going through their head that they don't have a solution for. Or it can be talking to something else related to their industry. You can share an opinion that brings them in to see more about what you're about. Like, there's different things that you can do for that. And it's talking about something that interests them to get attention, to get them to look at the rest of what you're doing. And then the warming up part of it is talking about that, the problem and what a solution for that problem is, giving them a little bit of help along the way. So we can educate people around that. We can showcase what we're doing with other people in that space as well. We can talk about challenges within the industry with that problem and things that people are doing to overcome that. Just as some examples, there's heaps of other things that we can do, but just to give some very basic examples from a warming people up point of view. And the other thing that I would say is sharing behind the scenes within your business and sharing a little bit of personal stuff. Now, I'm not saying go and share your all your woes and go and be miserable online, because that will put people off very quickly and no one wants to follow a lost leader. But what I would say, you can share the challenges that you've had and what you're working against, or where you're at now, or like what's happening, because people want that to connect. One of my friends recently shared something on Facebook, and I was like, "Where is this on LinkedIn?" And he's like, "Oh, I thought it was a little bit raw for LinkedIn." I'm like, "Nah, you've got to get that on LinkedIn." He shared it on LinkedIn, and it just, because everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing! Like, see you on your journey. This is it." And like, so you want to have those things because it creates connection. And then the last part, and I feel like the first two, for most people, they see that stuff a lot. So a lot of people, even starting out, can be relatively good at that.
Yep.
Or that, like, they understand it enough that they can do that part of it. The missing part is the conversion content, right? It's actually taking them. We've got your attention. We have an idea of what you do, but we haven't given them any way to do anything.
Next steps.
Yeah. So I just, if it's okay, I'll share a really basic framework that I use and that I encourage people to use for that. Okay. So I start off with some form of hook that is about what the problem is, just to draw people in. And then I talk about someone that I am working with, or myself, that has had that problem, how it made us feel, what the challenges we had around that were, and then how we've overcome them, what the steps were, then the outcome we got at the end, so that that person can see themselves in that picture. Because they're like, I have that problem. Oh, I feel that way. Yes, I have all of those challenges. Oh, that could be me that overcomes those things. This is what I get if I do. That would be amazing. And then the last piece to it is a way for them to reach out to you to be able to get into the room, right? Whether that's book a call, or whether it's go to your lead magnet, or whether it's join your waiting list, or whatever that piece is. But you need to lay it out for people, because we live in a world where everything is like this. So if you don't have it very clear, they are not coming, right? They will just get picked up by the next thing. Someone else will do it. And everyone looks on social media and they go, oh, I'm doing all this content. I don't know why people are going to this person who I don't think is as good as me, and I can see they don't do the same thing and don't do it. The difference is that person is making an ask and you are not. And that, it's such an important piece that gets missed by so many people. And the reason it gets missed is because they don't have strategy. They haven't set up a funnel within the channel. They haven't given a clear path for people to go down. And that, like, when you go strategy, you go knowing the person that you're talking to, you have the funnel. The last part that I see as a mistake is, there's heaps more, but this is really, we'll just leave with these ones, is you're boring. and what
And
and
after all that, by the way, you're boring.
yeah, and for those of you that have ever
Sorry, guys, you're not
watched
all like this, right?
yeah, no, you're boring. And let me clarify why, right? And I'm saying that to sort of agitate people a little bit and stuff like that, right? Is people roll in, right? And they talk about themselves.
Oh, it's just that I've got my list.
Yeah, and guess what no one cares about? They don't care about
You.
you.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that you're rolling in and you're trying to make someone a side character in
Yes.
your main story. Guess what? Nobody wants that. They don't give a shit in the politest way possible. They're busy living their own life. They've got all these things going on. They're going on to whatever social media they're going on for their own purposes. They might be going on because they just want to relax and think about things. They might be doing a doom scroll on TikTok at 11 o'clock at night. There's all sorts of things that they could be doing,
Is it
right?
11
So
o'clock?
if
Right.
you're
That's
rolling
okay.
in talking about you, they don't care. So
No.
you need to be talking about them, and you need to accept that if you want to build a business, you're not you're not the main character. You are the side character in someone else's story, and you are helping them live their best life.
Yeah, which actually leads me into a segue around some of the mistakes I see. But one of the things is if you place your client as the main character and you're the guide, so this brand story stuff, it's easier to make content. So that conversation you'll have yourself, which could be, what am I going to write today? It's kind of like the minute you think about them and everything they've been telling you, it's so much easier that it just flows because it's all about them, right? And you've been listening to them. It's just like it's so easy to write about, say, your best friend or your spouse because you know them, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So much easier. So strategy, funnels, and then having the plan, which I love this one, to make the ask. And I could make the ask all day long. But apparently we've got to have the other stuff.
Target is 5.
Target is 5. Getting the t-shirt. So if anybody wants to work with me, a couple of other things from like the sales important, and a lot of people I speak to, and I was the same, right? Really nervous about making the ask, super nervous about it. Could do it on the social part. I have a system where I do make it, but going into DMs or actually physically going on to buy my thing, really nerve-wracking, right?
I want to go and upset a lot of people about that, if that's okay.
Want to do it now?
Yeah, I really would love to jump in and upset a lot of people.
I mean, I'm buckled in.
All right. So for all of you out there who are going to get upset by this, good, right? So from the perspective of anyone that's out there that says, I don't do sales, I don't want to be a sleazy salesperson, it feels gross to do sales, I'm scared, you're being selfish.
No. Oof. There's the slap.
If you have a product or a service that can help change someone's life, give them better quality of life, let them help someone else, contribute in some way, form, or manner, and you are not out there talking to them to help them decide if you're the best fit to help them with their problem, you are being selfish because you are making it about you and not about them.
Which literally comes back to the content being about you. Right. So the actual ask is being about you. It's a hard chasm, when you're not used to it, to jump across. Right. But you're right. The minute you flip it and go, okay, I've got something here for you. I know it's going to help you. Like I have some people in my community now, and I know if they just hired me, we'd be right. Right.
Yeah.
So it's just getting them to the point where they can either they want to hire, they can see the value, or the finances are there. So it's just making sure that all those things line up, which is typical in typical sort of cycle in sales. It's all about timing and money and value. But I'm like, just let's go, because like I just want to help, right? I just want to work with you. Let's go. And it's like, oh, they're holding on. I'm like, come on, what are we waiting for, right? So I'm as you know, I sent a photo the other day. Your hat to someone.
Yeah.
We're going to go,
yes.
right?
Yeah,
So
you did. That was great.
You can have fun with the sales call in the end, right? You don't actually have, it doesn't have to be like, oh, you want to buy my thing. It's like, well, what are you waiting for? Right? When are you going to buy it? Let's go, right? So you could just change it out when you've done it.
Here's my clothesline with everyone. Would you like help, or would you like my help? A variation of that. That's all I say. If they want it, awesome. Then we take it to the next steps. If they don't, that's fine.
we're somehow going from content to sales because we've talked about this all day. So make
Yeah,
sure we're making
but but
we'll
that's the
definitely talk about
importance of
sales at
having
some
that
stage.
piece, though.
Yeah. So for you, strategy, funnel, and then having the ask, right, as part of your content collection and content conversation. Just on that, I noticed a couple of mistakes, and this has also come from personal experience. People wanting to sell with their content when really, like right at the start, it's more about building relationships. There's a lot of people who are like, I'm going to put some content out. Why aren't I making sales? And it's literally because you haven't built the relationship yet. It's like going up to someone in the street, a stranger, and saying, "Hey, want to get married?" Right? It's too weird. It's not going to happen. We need to hang out for a while first, right? And if someone said that to me, I'd probably, I might think about it.
I feel like I'm like ready to rabble rouse today.
Yeah, I know, actually.
Because the first thing I want to say off the back of that is it's not 1985. We're not doing like buy steak knives, and we're not advertising on TV. Like, and I see all that content where someone's like, "Here, come buy our thing for $9.95." Nobody cares.
Yeah.
They don't want to buy your thing for $9.95. They like that's not how people respond anymore. They get
so you don't
like
get
the
you
data
don't
is
more, but wait, there's more. There's no more of that. I remember that, but wait, there's more.
The data is like it's 20 odd thousand marketing messages a day.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so you have to have things that create some form of meaning for them if you want to get attention. You want to pull them in. Right?
Yeah, the attention going. The other thing I notice, particularly with people that are just starting out, want to make content for them. And I don't know how else to say it, but
yeah,
don't. Like, they want to make, like some conversations I've had recently, people have gone and got a lot of gear, got everything together, got the topics together, and are ready to go, and not really quite sure whether the topics are of interest to their market or whether the gear is necessary. Literally, as you say, I could be walking Betty in the morning with the phone up, just talking to some issues right now that we're having, right? The fact that it's 5 a.m. and pitch black and I can't even see, let alone anyone else's, one of the reasons I don't do it. But yeah, making content for you, making content you like, right? So many people create Canva tiles or sort of all sorts of different things because they like the design, right? Instead of what the client needs to see. So it's literally, even if you can start at a Canva tile and go, you know what, is this because I like it or is this because it's actually like in the market space? That'll start to sort of change that out a little bit. And not leaning into the problems enough. So not making it sad or anything, but people are not agitating the problem. People are nervous about, digging into the pain, right? It's kind of like we've got the solutions over here, but no one's going, oh, you know what, that really hurts. I'm going to give you some content that tells you what's going to hurt, right? So leaning into the pain side of things as well as the solution is super cool. And yeah, I've got funnel here as well. So all about funnels. So now that we've sort of dissed on everyone for a while, right? And said, you know what? We know this stuff. We don't, you're a genius in your industry. I'm sure I definitely don't come to me for, cooking or brain surgery or any of that stuff, right? I'll definitely leave that in the hands of the experts. But maybe we can lean over to some things that a brain surgeon or a chef could do to start to share their content out and start to make that connection. So you want to go with that? Besides rambling around.
A brain surgeon.
Yeah, do you think they need to make content, or you think that referral program is enough for them?
I think that someone like a brain surgeon is so much in demand that they just need to align with hospitals and key referral partners that, like, could it be good? Yeah, but I think you're doing it for, it depends on what purpose you're doing it for, right? Like, if you want to be world renowned and you want to go away from actually doing the surgery and you want to teach people to do surgery and you want to be a part of medical boards and you want to change the industry, then maybe yes. But then what you do is you're doing content around talking about the challenges within the industry and where things are falling down with the training and like how brain surgeons can best like work within a hospital environment and like the pressures around that and how to cope, like how to keep yourself healthy so that you can deal with the mental stress of it and stuff like that. That's sorry, that was a segue.
That's a
I
great
wasn't going to
funnel.
talk about brain surgery, but I'm suddenly like, oh, what would I do?
That's a great example of how your content talks around everything.
Yeah.
And it talks into things, right? Rather than about you. It's all about the industry, about what's going on, the movement you're trying to change, the things you're trying to bring in.
So I guess my thought process, just to share for anyone that listens, is I went, okay, so if I was doing content, what am I trying to achieve? Right. And as a brain surgeon, if you're doing content, it's going to be because you have a higher purpose. It's not because you
That's right.
brain surgery, because you're already going to be working 80 plus hours a week anyway, right? So there needs to be some form of higher purpose behind that because you're just in high demand, right?
But I think that could go with anybody making content. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Brain surgeon or anyone else making content, it's for a higher purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? So my higher purpose that I've decided that it was for is that I actually want to be more than a brain surgeon. I want to be an industry leader. I want to help shape the industry in the future because I don't believe that it's doing what it needs to do now to support not only people that are like me, but also the future of that industry. So I've gone, what are the things that I need to talk to that are going to resonate with people within that industry that are struggling so that I can help influence change?
I love this. This gets me excited about making content, this kind of work. Yeah. So yeah, that's what it's all about.
For transparency, I am not an influencer at all. I'm a business owner. I care about business. Social media, content marketing is a tool so that I can help more people.
Totally.
That's exactly all it is for me.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is for everyone, really. Even if you are an influencer and you're selling products, ultimately it's the same thing. Hopefully, maybe there's a bigger purpose. We'll see. All right. So we're taking a look at some things that people can do, like have a higher purpose, which makes it a hell of a lot easier to create content, focus on the client or focus on, I often say it, right? It's so easy to get caught up with what's going on out here. But if you just stay in your lane and stay completely focused on that client, like don't just put blinkers on and just talk to that client every time you make content, it'll just be fine. You just don't have to use the mental energy of what everyone else is doing or whatever's trending. Just stay in your lane and stay completely focused on them, what they need to hear from you, and they'll find you. I love that. Niche specific or problem niche specific is another thing to help stay focused and stay in your lane. Scale if you can. So create one piece of content for everything else if you can. So we'll talk about what they look like in a minute, but that's what I think of all the time when I'm making content. Make one piece. Where can I put it? How far can it go? How long can it go for? I've got content that I pull out from years ago still, depending on what it is. So you can go evergreen for a while, or then sometimes you've got specific types of content. But again, if you're running a promo, maybe that can come out again when you rerun the promo, right? So just scale it, right? And keep a library, because I'm going to take your words. That shit's expensive, right? You're making heaps of content, spending all of that time on it. That's it. That's expensive. Keep your library. Keep it, filed away. Some of my friends, they're going to curl up right now because they hate filing stuff away. Their Canva's all over the place and mine's all boxed up so I can find it whenever I need it, because the minute I have to look for something, I'll lose my mind, right? So it's all there. So I can grab it, right? So just file it so you know exactly where it is. It's completely, valuable when you can just go, I'm going to grab that bit and put it there, because that's the conversation we're having right now. And yeah, that's about it for now. I'll just share it everywhere as well, like what we're doing. So we're on YouTube, LinkedIn, my LinkedIn, your LinkedIn, my Facebook page, my personal page, our community group, the Social Butterfly group. And that's it, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook.
Yeah, my business Facebook page, it's also in, I have a small group that's clients and basically referral partners that are in there on Facebook, and it's streaming to that right now as well.
Yeah, and then what we do is we take this, pop it through some AI when we're finished, cut it up, and send it out.
Yeah, that's
what we're going to do. So that I thought I'd talk into that in a second, the types of content. So what do you think in relation to what people could do to make it easier for them?
To make it easier?
Yeah. So what can they be doing with their content so that it hits the mark? They're not wasting time. It's actually like easier to do. It's working for them.
So this isn't a new concept, but it's still one of the best concepts that I've come across. And you know, Gary V pioneered this, and people still use it to this day. And in fact, people are doing it more now than they ever were when he was doing it. And it's document what you're doing. If you go and look and you watch all these people, the video blogs are coming back, right? And the reason why is because people are really interested in behind the scenes. And if you go and watch the way that people consume, they are either doing the like this, so you have to have something that's going to stop them that's interesting. And what do they like doing? Well, they like binging on Netflix, or they like doing all the different things. So if you're documenting and you're sharing stories of what's going on, and that doesn't necessarily mean by camera, but by text, photographs, whatever that is, um, it's very interesting to people, and it tells a story, and it's what you're actually doing. Because the problem that a lot of people have is they try and talk to something that they're not doing. And
Yes.
there isn't enough depth behind it, and it just looks like what everyone else is doing. You know what other people can't replicate is
You.
what you do. Yeah, you. So like if we look at, this is a little segue, but very quickly, it's relevant to this, is like we talk about making a market dominating position, right? Which is where you are seen as the only. So there's generally three things that you can compete on, which is speed, quality, and
Right.
price, right? And that, if you can do all three, you just capture the market, and you're like, ha, kind of thing. But the thing that no one else can replicate is you. And this is why branding is so strong right now, and it will be strong going forward in the future. And this is why you see more and more people doing owner facing or director facing or general manager facing, or someone within the team is like the face of the brand, because you can't replicate that person and what they're doing. What has
Yeah.
been the, I was just going to say, just in relation to that, what's been the easiest thing for me, just to,
Yeah.
is I work with client, like I'm doing 4 to 6 coaching sessions every day, and then I talk to business owners every day. So I just talk to the problems that I'm talking about, or we're working on, the wins that we have, and it's just relevant to everyone, because it's just the stuff that I'm doing all the time. And does it get super amounts of reach? Not necessarily, because it's not always the sexiest thing, and it doesn't speak to people that aren't business owners. It doesn't speak to people that aren't business owners that have teams and stuff like that, because they're not necessarily going through that, and that's okay, because I'm talking to the people that I should be talking to.
That's right. And so back to the start of the reason why you create content in the first place is to find those people that, are related to you. So by creating content that is about, and sort of flipping, but not so much about you, but about your day and about how you're helping people, then those new clients can see themselves in you, as we've said. Yeah. So
Probably the trick is, so that people don't go, well, you just told me I'm boring by talking about me, is you put it in relation to other people, right? So like, we're doing this, we're doing that, like, and you showcase what's happening, because that's interesting to people, but you also relate it back to other people. So I was doing X, Y, and Z, and that relation back could just be a simple question: is what's this kind of thing that you do for this? Because you're then asking a question that brings it to them.
Yep, I love it. I'm actually just thinking about your, what sort of content do people want to look at? And you were saying, behind the scenes and things like that, which is extremely powerful. Like user generated content and behind the scenes content is incredibly powerful. And I'm like, why is that? And I'm thinking, when you're at a airport, all you do is people watch and make up all the stories about what's happening when everyone gets off the plane and hugs the relatives, or doesn't, or picks up the bag, or it's the wrong bag, and you can see they're shitty on it, and just the plane's delayed. Like for all day, you could sit there. Most of the time you have to, right? Because the plane's been delayed. And that is TikTok on steroids, isn't it? When you think about it, it's behind the scenes on steroids. So that's why I think people are interested in that kind of stuff, is they can make up their own story about it as well. So lean into that team. There's lots to, as I say, Your story is the most valuable thing you own, and you're sitting on it. You're sitting on a mountain of value. So lean into that because it's all there. So, all right, last thing I thought we might take a quick look at is types of content, just to sort of round it out. So we've got, my notes are videos, stills, which is, just photos, but also I might just touch on Mid-Journey and some of the AI stuff that's coming out right now as well. So that's a content thing to look at. So videos, you've got long form, short form, 30-second snips, and right now that's trending on Instagram is 7-second reels, right? That's just blowing up Instagram right now. I was just talking to a client of mine this morning who's brought in 30 followers this week from posting 7-second reels every day on Instagram, right? 2,000 views, and people are just coming in. So video content, long form like this, which is designed to, hold people with you for a while and get them to hang out with you and get to know you. That's the point of it, mainly. What you can do is cut it up and turn it into short form content, which is the idea. So then you're starting to scale that out, which is awesome. But you can create 30-second snips like I do every day. Like I create about 30 in a sitting. And they're just short, sharp 30-second ones that I run through the stories features, and then they can go into other places like reels and emails. And then there's the 7-second ones. So that sort of covers the video space. And there's, face to camera, like we were saying. Or again, and my client this morning, she was just taking a video of the forest and put words over the top of it, and it just blew up. Right. So you've got it. You're sitting on it all the time. So what do you think? Anything else to add around video content? Just do it.
Don't worry about it being perfect and curated and pretty. Like, that's, people actually appreciate more raw video more than they do. You're not spending $250,000 a month on content.
Yeah,
don't
totally.
try and look that way. We have, just about everyone that I know has a phone, right? That phone has a better recording camera in it than what people were using 10 years ago.
Yeah, totally.
Unless you were a movie production, right? So use it, and don't get caught up in if it's not perfect, because it's more real for people if it's not.
Yeah, you just need a camera, a phone, an iPad, a tripod, and headphones for the microphone, and tripod just to stop it moving, because you will shake it a little bit unintentionally and that'll make your audience feel sick. So we don't do that. And then I still use these, and so does Gary V, right? I don't even have the pods. Still using this one. Still works.
You're talking to a client and you can just go like this and take a photo, or you can just go and literally go, hey guys, just catching up with Katrina. Here's like, that's, yeah, like that's
and everyone else.
Yeah, but that's like, we make it difficult. Like, this is just a business thing in general, but it's no different for content to business, is we complicate things that we should just be simplified.
Your kiss, hey?
Yeah.
All right, so that's video content. The other one is stills or photographs. So you don't need professional ones. At some stage you will, depending on where you are in your business. It might be a good idea to go get some professional headshots done. Again, just depending on what's going on. But you just got your phone, just like you said, right? You just hold your phone up and go, hey, here we are. And that's all you need.
Go look at the stupid photos in my head, if anyone's concerned about
it. But you've actually cut yours off, put it everywhere.
Go look at, you can go look on my LinkedIn, is probably the best example, and it's just like, I'm terrible at taking photos. So like that, it's not curated, it's nothing like that. I just bang a photo up, and it's just, all that photo is just to get someone to stop for 2 seconds to try and get them to read the book. It's great. Ideally, you want it something that's related to the content. Like, don't go and post a picture of your meal and then talk about brain surgery, because it's not relevant.
Unless you can make it relevant somehow. If you can do that, I'd be interested to hear that post.
I can do that super easily. Okay, so as a brain surgeon, this is what I'm eating to keep healthy. This is why. This is what it does.
What was you going to say then?
And like, I would love to hear what you guys eat, or how you meal prep, or what you do to keep you going through the day.
Nice.
Easy.
And as a social media marketer, this is what I'm eating to keep healthy, right?
Toast.
How'd you know? All right, the last thing, AI images, right? They're huge right now. There's a company, there's Midjourney where you can make a lot. ChatGPT you can make a lot. I can't think of the other company where you can literally make videos that are incredible. Oh,
The one that's going to change things for a lot of people, which is going to shake things up for the people that know how to use it, is Sora, which is coming out with OpenAI, and the videos that the trial people that are putting out from that are just, it's insane. Like the minute I saw that first video, I was like Googling, how do I get access to it?
Yeah, totally. It's the dog or the woman walking down the street. So it's incredible.
Yeah,
so
the individual hairs moving on the dogs, and like you really struggle to tell that that's AI that's made.
Yeah, and that's just the start. Yep. You know, give it a year and you won't know. So the only thing it can't do just yet is us. I don't think it can just yet, but tell you, give it a year and it'll change the game. So interesting days for content creation down the track. Very interesting days about where it's all going to end up. So watch this.
And people are going to take two sides to that. There's the people that are all about AI that will want to see your AI stuff, and you probably need to be talking about it as AI, right? Like I wouldn't go and try and pull it off as something that you've done when it's AI, because people if you have rubbish photos, rubbish videos, and then suddenly you've got this AI stuff, you know, well, you've just done this, right? The other side, like my preference, and like again, this is me personally, I just think you're better off putting raw stuff out there until you can afford to get someone who's going to cut your videos, edit your videos, do a bit more to it, and then you progressively get it a little bit better.
Yeah, completely. Start now. Don't worry about, then. Start now with everything you've got. Yeah. It's just super interesting where the AI is headed. And every time something new comes out with it, it's kind of like, whoa, this is the end of everything, right? And then everything settles down and there's two worlds still side by side. So if you want to use Midjourney, ChatGPT to create images, it's still learning as it goes. I must admit, when I see AI generated images out there, I scroll on at the moment because I'm
you didn't like my little marshmallow man?
I love your marshmallow man. Yes, I loved your marshmallow man, which told me it was marshmallow man. Whereas, I follow some awesome creators on LinkedIn, awesome business owners. They are in the AI world, or they are in they're in the tech world. So that's what they're talking about, but they're using AI generated images, and I'm like, can't you just use you? Right, because it's so AI and I can feel the heaviness in it, so it's not alive enough for me yet, the AI generated stuff.
But are you their target audience?
Possibly not. It could be people that love AI, right? So it's working. So on that note, then, that's content. That was a big chat today about content. We didn't even scratch the surface, but just as a summary, do you, right? So keep your client in your focus when you're making content. Think about them the whole time. Even if you're nervous coming to camera, be nervous or whatever it is.
So what's like the 2-minute, here's the easiest way that if you're struggling with content that you can just go and pump that out and you can, get 2 or 3 pieces of content out a week as a business owner?
It's the easiest part.
Yeah, well, if like you're a business owner that you had no time, you've got to get out there, you've got to start building this up. You can't yet afford, or you're not sure on who to go and spend money with to do this. What you'd encourage them to do?
What I have just created, and I encourage everyone to do, is grab a 3 bullet point journal, and at the end of every day, write 3 bullet points on what you've done today. Take those bullet points tomorrow, create 1 video and 1 text piece of content and 1 sales piece, and send it out each week. You have content for days.
There you go.
That'll take you like 15 minutes max a week to make content. Send it.
Be fair. Yeah. It's going to take a little bit longer than 15 minutes.
Wait, if we go to a bullet point. I've got a bullet point here. Meant to be prospecting. That's my bullet point. Meant to be prospecting. So here it is. I'm meant to be prospecting today. Instead, I'm making content. So hey, I'm just prospecting right now. Anyone want to buy my stuff?
Oh, yeah.
That's all 3 in 1, right?
Michael shenanigans.
What about you? What's your top three or your tips for getting content out for crazy busy business owners that, you know, are like, God, do I have to? Number one, yeah, you do.
Get someone else to do it.
Okay, great. Send them my way.
Here's the thing that I would say to anyone is if you're in a position that you need to do it for yourself, that's fine. Work out what you're going to say no to instead.
Oh, nice.
Right? Because if you're already doing 60, 80 hours a week and you go, cool, I'm going to go do content now, you're just not going to do it. So figure out what you're not going to do so that you can do it. Allocate yourself like an hour. Plan out 12 pieces of content for a month and just stick to that to start with and just make it nice and easy and then do the majority of work in one go. Then if you can, schedule it so you don't have to think about it. So the only thing you want to do the thing that I would encourage you to do if you have the time is get it all done, scheduled up to send out, and then when it goes out, spend like 15 minutes engaging with people around there.
Oh, we'll talk about outreach.
Yeah, because that's the easiest way. That like I have people do it. Like I make people do a lot more than that because that guy. But that's the easiest way that I would say, and it's just habit. It'll feel hard, but once you get in a rhythm of it, it's not hard. The last thing that I would leave off the back of that is just because you've spoken about something 12 weeks ago doesn't mean anyone's going to remember it. So once you've done 3 months worth of content, you can just cycle through again if you want to. Just tweak it a little bit, same topic, maybe a new photo from what you're doing if it's something that you do day in, day out.
New eyes on the prize.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good segue because next week we're going to talk about connecting, right? So we've created all this amazing content. How do we actually leverage it, right? So that's our conversation for next week, which is literally getting out there and chatting with people on the platforms, which is so powerful that I often say you literally don't even need to make content half the time if you're doing this. It's good to have it, because people are going to come back and check you out. But let's talk about that next week. So thank you very much, Michael, for joining me today, unpacking content and just how powerful it is and how to get around it as a busy business owner. See you all next week. If you guys have got any questions, by all means, drop them in the chat as usual. If you'd like to come on and talk to us about any topics that we're talking about, we'd love to have you. And if you know of anybody that might be interested in some of these conversations we're having, do let them know about us. We're here every Thursday, 1 p.m. Sydney time. What time's that over there for you? 10 a.m. in Perth?
Yeah, 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Perth, and wherever you are in the world, whatever time that is, come join us because we'll be here each week. So next week's all about connecting and how to actually start leveraging, ringing out those platforms. So see you then. Have a good week. See you then, Michael.
See you then.